Hello and welcome to Deborah Cowell Yoga. Today's class will be a therapeutic class for opening the heart center. And then we are going to move up into more energetic poses. So to begin with, you're going to need 2 blocks or some large books or a strap with a belt on it. And if you don't have bolsters, then just roll up a couple of blankets. And you may also need some other smaller pillows to just adjust your body on. So gather up all those things and then come back and join me. So we're going to begin by just lying down on our back. So just lying down on the mat, just feeling your back. Close your eyes if you wish, or just take your gaze straight up. And just come to your breath. And you might want to just adjust yourself so that you're comfortable. So coming to the breath, just perhaps noticing how you're feeling today. So your physical body, or maybe your energy level, or how you're feeling just generally all over. So just notice these things and know that they are there, and then just let them go. Coming back to the breath. Just smoothing the breath out. Just taking some time to settle down. So once your breath has evened out, then we're going to just take this up a little bit, opening up the heart area. So opening up the heart can be very therapeutic, especially if you do suffer from mild hypertension or constricted breathing, or maybe even panic attacks. This is a very good thing to do. So you can take your bolster, and we're just going to bring it right under our shoulder blades. So in the thoracic area, so that the heart lifts here. So just adjust it where you need it, and you can drop your head to the floor. So if your head doesn't reach the floor, then perhaps take a pillow or a block and just place your head on the block or pillow. And then we're going to inhale and find length here. And then exhale, bring the hands back down behind you. Again, if your hands are not reaching the floor, that's perfectly fine. You can take your arms out to the side here if that feels better for you. Or again, you can place them on another blanket or some pillows. And we're going to stay here for a while and just open up. So just softening. So coming back to the breath. And letting the mind just come to stillness. So just let the mind be quiet here for a while. And again, just notice how you're feeling. And if your mind starts to wander, then just bring it back gently to the breath. Just staying very present. And you can stay here as long as you like. If this is the only thing that you do, then just do this. Otherwise, we're going to just come up now. So just bring your hands alongside the body, and you can bend your knees here if you like, and just start to roll up. Place your hands on the floor and come up. And the next thing that we're going to do is another nice therapeutic opening for the back. And it's a bit of an inversion as well. So we're going to, again, if you have two bolsters, you just place the one across the mat and the other one just in the center here. So having the length towards the bottom of the mat. And again, you may need a pillow for your head. So this is also very good. You can start by just taking your knees along the side of the pillow. And you're going to sit right down on the bolster or blanket. And then take the legs out. And we're going to roll down. So you're going to feel this a little bit lower in the back. So more opening up in the lumbar area. And two, if you have a strap, this is kind of a nice way to just totally relax into this. Is to take this strap with the belt. I've already got mine measured right up onto the thighs so that your legs don't splay out to the side, and just tighten it there. And you may want to place a block under your heels. If your heels are not quite coming down to the floor, that's always a good thing too. So just play around with this until you can find that spot that feels just perfect for you. And again, we're going to start to open up here. Just shift your body. So you want this bolster that's going across the mat under more of your lumbar area. And you can place your head on a pillow, or again, you can bring it right down to the floor. So wherever you would like to be today. And you could rest your arms on the back of a pillow. Another nice option here is to place a rolled up towel over your eyes, or even a light sandbag. So you're going to feel this in a little bit of a different area of the back. So you're still opening up the heart area here. But you're also, it's more of an inversion. You're lifting up more of the pelvis and the lumbar area. And again, just coming back to the breath. So if you've never really practiced too many back bends, this is a nice gentle way of easing your way into back bends and releasing the back. So staying with the breath, you can stay here for as long as 5 minutes. And you can play around with the heights if you're just new to this with blankets. You can Use smaller blankets to begin with, depending on how flexible your back is right now. But it's a lovely way to experience that openness. And again, notice the breath, the quality of the breath as you're breathing. Notice the length of the breath. So again, this is very therapeutic for your heart, and also just if you're anxious or feeling maybe even a panic attack, this is a nice way to just be present and open up. Bring the heart rate back down. So you can stay here longer if you wish. I'm going to come out of this right now. So I'm going to bring my arms back down to the floor and just very slowly start to roll up. And you can take your feet back onto the floor and maybe even grab your knees to roll up or push down on the floor and come back up. And remove your strap. And then we're going to come to sitting. So I'm going to continue to use this bolster to sit on, just to open up my hips a bit more. So you can use a pillow or a block to sit on, but it's just a nice way to sit. If you're not used to sitting cross-legged in Sukhasana, it lifts the hips off the floor and it tips the pelvis forward a little bit so that you can sit comfortably with a nice tall spine. So just bring your hands to rest wherever you would like. And if this is not high enough, then just add more until your hips are releasing, until you get to a comfortable spot. So if you're using blocks, you could use one or two and just stack them on top of each other so that you are sitting nice and tall. So you could be even up here, and that's fine too. Sitting on your blocks, perfectly fine. Unless you want to be comfortable. So just coming to a nice sitting position, we're going to just open up for a moment here, bringing our hands down onto our knees. So we're going to just inhale, lift the arms up. And then exhale, just come into a nice gentle twist. Take your right hand onto your left knee and your left hand behind. Draw up your shoulders. Inhale and then exhale. Just come into a nice little twist, not too far. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale down the other way. Left hand on right knee and right hand behind. And open up. Inhale, come up. Bend your elbows, interlock your fingers, and inhale back up. So just finding some length in the spine. And then exhale, release. Take your hands and just walk your fingers out for a minute. Just lengthen out the spine and then maybe fold down. So if your head doesn't quite reach the floor, a block is handy too. You can bring the block here and just drop your forehead onto a block. So wherever you would like to be today, if you want to come down a little bit further. And just stay there and breathe. So the block is kind of nice too. You can get that pressure point right between your forehead if you're suffering from a headache or stress. Again, this is a nice way to find that pressure point and just breathe into it. And then inhale, come back up slowly. And we're going to take our legs open here on the mat. And again, if you are really tight in the hips, then elevate your hips so that you can tip the pelvis forward a little bit more. And it doesn't matter how wide you are on the mat. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to use a bolster again. So just find length here. And then we're going to bend the right knee and just take it into the groin area. And you can use your bolster alongside your leg here. So we're going to physically turn our body out and then just start to drop down. So you can take your other hand behind and maybe open up. And then inhale, come back up. And we'll do that on the other side. So just take the other leg out and bring the left foot into the groin area. Find length. And then just lengthen the spine first and then turn and take your hand somewhere on the floor or on the bolster and just lengthen out here. And if you like, you can inhale and bring the other hand over top. And then inhale, come back up. And we're going to open our legs again wide on the mat and just place the bolster here. Again, finding length. And then just starting to fold forward from the hips. So just hinging forward. And then just take your arms somewhere on your bolster or pillow and just completely release. So if your head doesn't quite make it down to the pillow, to the bolster, then just use a block. And stay here. So just staying with the breath. And then inhale, come up slowly. And just remove your blocks off to the side. And if you're sitting on something, then just move that off to the side as well. We're going to come back down on to the mat. And again, we're going to open up our heart area. And this may be difficult for you, so you can bring a bolster again and just place it behind your back, and you will need a block. So we're going to take both legs out in Tadasana first, just finding that length and really grounding down through the legs. And maybe just placing the hands beside the hips. So again, lifting out through the crown of the head. The neck is lengthening here, coming back to the breath. And then we're going to just sit up onto our heels for a moment. So for some of you, this is going to be impossible. And we're going to use a block for this. So just take a block and place it between your ankles and just settle down onto it. And for some of you, you may even need 2 blocks, and that's fine too. So just make sure that your knees are not going out to the side, so you don't want to put any pressure on your knees, and that your toes are going back to the back of the mat. You can even push down on your feet just to let them release a little bit here. So just take your hands onto the floor, fingertips touching, and start to lift up. I'm already starting to feel the chest opening. So you can stay here, perhaps. And we're going to take the right leg out to the front and remove the block and come down. So keep your knees together, and again finding length, and then we're going to just start to come back a little bit. So keep this foot engaged, and this may be as far as you can go, that's fine. Or you might find that you can come back down onto your elbows, opening up here. So just start to relax, go slowly. Just, and if you're feeling any pain in your knee or your hip or anywhere, then just slowly come back out of the pose. And if you notice that your knee is lifting off the floor, then you need to definitely come back up. So if that feels good, you can start to just soften and bring your hands along the side of your body. So just make sure that your hips aren't coming off the floor. And if you want to, you can remove the bolster and come right down to the floor, but only if your hips are staying, your knees are staying down on the mat. So if not, then just stay at your comfort level. And you could perhaps place a block underneath your head. So this is a little bit much for me today. I'm going to put the bolster back and just stay here, which is perfectly fine because I want to totally relax in this pose. So coming back down. And if you still feel that your head is moving back too far, you can place a block here as well. So coming back to the breath, really engage this leg. And then we're going to inhale, lift up, and then bring the arms back somewhere on the bolster or on the floor. And again, coming back to that breath. Just a little bit of a back bend, and you're also working your quadricep, the front of your leg here. So keeping the other leg still very active. And coming back to your breath. So again, you can stay here for as long as you feel comfortable. And then to come out of it, we're just going to bring our hands back down, our elbows down to the floor, and come up slowly, placing the hands on the floor and coming up that way. And then you can come back up, and we're going to take both feet back again, and then just leaning over and taking the other foot out. Again, make sure that your foot is facing the back of the mat, that it's not coming out to the side, and just open that way. If you need to sit on a block, then sit on a block. So pushing down, and then we're going to just slowly start to come down, just noticing how we're feeling here. So if you feel any pain or restriction in that knee, then come back out. And then we're going to come back down onto the arms and just noticing how that feels, breathing into it. So once you've relaxed into it, your muscles are going to start to relax, and then you can perhaps go deeper. There's no point pushing muscles because they're going to constrict if you do, and that could be very painful and doesn't accomplish anything. So just be aware of how your body is feeling. And then if that feels good, then you could perhaps come all the way down. Again, just noticing if your knee is lifting up off the floor. And then inhale, reach up. And then just relax the hands on this side. So any of these poses that you're lying and you're spending some time here, it's nice to put a small sandbag over your eyes. And then to come out of this again, just take your elbows down to the floor, start to roll up, and then coming back up onto your hands. And then just leaning over and taking that leg straight out again. So we're going to inhale, reach up, and then start to fold forward again. If you need something to sit on so that your pelvis is coming forward, then do so to get that little bit of a tilt. So again, inhale, reach up. Finding length, 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 and then exhale, draw the navel into the spine and start to release. So reaching out, reaching out, reaching out. And wherever your hands are today, just bring them down. So they might be up here, that's fine. Just keep the spine as tall as you can. Maybe take the head back just ever so slightly. So inhale. And then exhale, draw the navel in towards the spine, and then maybe come a little bit further down. So you can do this on increments. Inhaling and lengthening, finding space, and then exhaling and coming down. So just take your time. There's no rush, no hurry. Just be where you are, and wherever you are today is perfectly fine. Not many of us are going to look like the models on the yoga magazines, and that's fine too. We're who we are, and we're happy with who we are. So inhale and exhale, come down a little bit further. And then inhale, come back up and release. So we're going to get rid of this bolster again, or whatever you're sitting on, and come back onto our heels. So just sitting on our feet here, toes tucked under. And on an inhale, we're going to just lift up. So inhale, come up. Just bringing the energy back up again. And then exhale, sit back down. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. This time we're going to inhale, come forward, and just place your hands on the mat. Bring your nose, your chest forward, and then come all the way down to the mat. Place your hands right beside your rib cage here for a moment. Drop your forehead and start to press your feet into the mat. Press your hips into the mat, the tops of your feet and your forehead. Inhale and then start to just curl up, really pressing down through the feet. So the head comes up last, and just take your hands off the mat for a minute. And then exhale, come all the way back down, dropping the forehead down last. One more time, inhale. And start to lift off. So taking the shoulders down the back, coming up, and then bring the head up last. And then exhale, come down. And just drop the forehead down. One more time, inhale. And you might want to go maybe a little deeper this time. So again, take the shoulders down the back, and then exhale, come forward. So this time, take your fingertips out to the side of the mat. Draw the shoulders down the back, and inhale, come up. And then exhale. Come on back down. Cross your arms out the front and just rest your head here for a moment on your hands. Turn your head the other way for a moment and just bend your knees. Bend your knees. Here, just letting the back release. And then just let your legs fall from side to side. Just giving your back, your pelvis a nice little massage here. And then bring the feet back down to the floor. And take your arms with your elbows directly under your shoulders and open your hands wide on the mat. So again, think about lengthening out through the crown of the head and taking the shoulders down the back. Again, pressing the tops of the feet into the floor so that your legs are very engaged here. And think about taking that length forward, so almost as if you were pulling your body forward. So really engaging the hands, finding that length. And then releasing. One more time, inhale. Lengthen, so almost as if you were pulling yourself along on a sandy beach, dragging your body. And then this time we're going to just look over our shoulder at our baby toe. And then inhale, come back. And then exhale, look out over the shoulder at the other baby toe. Inhale, come back. And exhale. Inhale, come back. And exhale. And then just come back down to the mat. Take a breath. Then we're going to just take our arms back behind us and bend our knees again. So have your knees about hip distance apart here. And then we're going to take a hold of our ankles. So again, engage the feet. And on an inhale, we're going to start to lift up. So inhale. Lifting up the chest and the knees off the floor. And as you breathe, you may notice that you're starting to rock a little bit. One more time. And then release. And then just let everything go. Bring your hands out front again and just drop your head. Drop your head. Bend your knees. And just let your knees go back and forth. And then we're going to place our hands alongside our rib cage, elbows pointing back. Drop the forehead. Inhale, come up. Come back onto your toes. Coming back down in on your toes, bending your feet. And then coming up into your down dog. So just take a moment to relax your head here. Relax your neck. Take an inhale. And exhale out through your mouth. One more time. Come up onto your toes, bend your knees, and sit back into your child's pose. So just sinking back into your hips, dropping your forehead. And if you like, you can bend your elbows, bring your palms together, and just bring your hands up behind your head. Bring your hands back down. Sit up on your heels. And again, just take your fingertips back for a moment and open up the heart. And then we're going to come back down on the mat, onto our backs, into Savasana. So we're going to do a supported Savasana today. And again, you can take your bolster and pillow and maybe some blankets and just elevate your back a little bit here. So you can stack it up as high as you want to. If you want to place another pillow, you can do that, and then just maybe roll it up underneath your head. Just letting that support you like that. And then coming down onto the mat, just take your back along just by the lumbar area and coming down onto your pillows. And again, if you have a sandbag, this is a nice thing to put on here. So just open up, take a second just to wiggle your hips here. Just find the center of your body. So you can keep your legs straight if that feels good, or if you'd rather, you can bend your legs if that feels better for your lower back. Whatever you would like to do today. If you want to, you could also place another bolster underneath your knees. So just find what feels best for you. And then come back to your breath. Let your feet fall out to the sides, and if you want to cover yourself with a blanket here. And then again, just start to come back to your breath. And again, just notice how your body feels right now. Maybe you feel like you are more relaxed. Maybe your heart feels a little happier than it did at the beginning. And if you like, you can place your hands on your heart center. And just feel the rhythm of your breath moving up and down. And maybe just feel the beating of your heart. So just feeling very safe, knowing that you are loved by yourself. As long as you can come to your breath and just be here, you don't really need anything more, just to be in this moment. So you can stay here for as long as you like, as long as you feel you would like to. I'm going to just come out of my Savasana now, just removing the bolster from underneath my knees, tipping over onto my side and then coming up into a seated position. So if you're in a seated position, just bring your hands to your heart center and just press your thumbs into your heart, making that connection again. Take an inhale and exhale. Namaste.